Yo, you tuned in to Guerilla Cross Radio.
Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Guerilla Cross Radio. Streaming live on GorillaCross.com and the Guerilla Cross app. I'm your host, Quan59, and we have another fun-filled show for you kids today. I think Josh is going to be laughing a lot. I don't know why. I just feel like the pregame show was showing us you're going to be laughing a lot. But just in time, Josh Williams is in the building super early today. What's good?
Yes, it's a Victory Monday, so I should be a little bit.
Oh, that's
more
why you came
excited,
in happy.
a little more jovial.
All your teams won.
Yes, they did.
Wow,
And the Wizards didn't have to play, so I had no fear of a letdown.
that's good. That's good.
Always helps.
Dave Nobles is back in the building. Death Star Dave.
Still alive.
He ate a piece of that Death Star pie, but he is here with us. What's good, man?
Just happy to be back. Sad about missing out last week, but feel like I'm pretty much ready to go. Hopefully you won't see me looking too stupid here.
Listen, we
As
will
we go
get
along.
your picks today for all the NBA
For the next month.
things we talked about. You know what I'm saying?
Just to be safe.
Got it.
Talk about that. And my man, Hollywood Huff, wearing the Hulk t-shirt color today. He's been working out. He quit eating the nibs.
Allegedly.
He's in the building. What's
Allegedly.
good? And he's on the bad mic.
Yeah, I just, I don't really know what I'm doing in life. I just show up, If I'm alive when it's over, I'll do it again next day.
Wow, you didn't plan for that opening remark, did you?
That was a bit
that
morbid.
was a struggle.
It's a bit morbid.
It was a struggle.
I'm here, baby.
He's here. We are all here. We're eating healthy. Everyone's, no soda. Everyone's drinking healthy.
I got busy.
I'm lucky when I'm eating and drinking lately just from being sick.
Josh
been rough.
has fizzy water. Is that the name of it?
No, it's
Busy water.
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven sparkling.
Now let me tell you something. Josh doesn't know you're not supposed to really go into the 7-Eleven on Stewart and Las Vegas Boulevard
Hey, man.
unless you live over there or behind there.
I'll go in there, but he went in and got like fresh things with like fruit and expiration dates. That you don't do.
And expiration dates. I don't go in there at all.
Look here, man. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of no crackhead. I'm like the Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Wow.
Not afraid of no crackhead, man.
Man, you don't know if that like thing of fruit cocktail or whatever like
Yeah,
went down
that-
somebody's
that-
pants at some point.
Oh, come on.
It's a real
You
possibility.
have to take it all the way to the underpants pants.
Huh?
Whoa.
Well, he's got a point though.
I mean,
It's true.
technically,
The bananas didn't look good.
technically, they probably are not wearing underpants. It's just pants. You only got one layer to go.
Wow.
And that's your best case scenario right there.
No, listen. I had a ride about a week ago. This girl was like, she has a dude. She has a guy that's homeless outside her house. This dude just doesn't wear pants.
Wow.
She calls him Ding Dog Don. Like he does not wear pants. He like literally just walks around like no draws, just free balling
Wow.
in the street in LA.
Hey, man,
It's
he's
bad
living
times.
life, baby.
Bad times in LA.
Awesome. Well, if you want to call in, hit us up 702-608-3259. We have a lot of sports to talk about. A busy weekend in sports and a busy week coming up. The NBA season is back, and Major League Baseball season has started here on Unnamed Sports Show. The World Series is here. Playoffs have been happening. So, we love talking about baseball during the playoffs.
No, you do. The rest of us,
Well, when your team
I can
doesn't
talk
really
with
make
myself.
the playoffs.
I'm so disappointed in Counsell and his management of the Brewers.
oh,
His management cost them that series, which just a bunch of nonsense. Starting a guy for one player just so he could try to mess with the other team's lineup. That didn't work. And then getting there at the end, just the whole thing. And why they pitched to Bellinger in that 13-inning game, I still can't figure out. Because the catcher, the Dodgers catcher has been an abject disaster, and he was the next man up. Walk Bellinger and keep living to fight another day.
why pitch Hader in the fourth when I saw that, I was like, they're done. I was like, this game is over. I was like, as long as they can get one more run, this game is finished.
Some shameful overmanaging.
Yeah,
and then plus a bunch of guys just not showing up.
Everyone that's my problem. That is my biggest problem with October is everyone wants to do the perfect move, and it's like sometimes just let people play and let it play out and figure it out as you go.
I think people even on the Dodgers side thought there was bad managing.
There's been bad managing in the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
and that comes from players that play under Dave Roberts.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, yeah. But you're right. I think they panic. I think they stopped managing their style and the way they managed all year.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to do it different because you're in a 7-game series with this team, so they're doing different things. You have to try to do different things to combat that, and I think that's kind of what happens. We even saw the Yankees do that a little bit in the series against Boston. But now we have in the World Series, Dodgers back-to-back World Series appearances.
Yep.
Back-to-back losers.
Hopefully they can do. Hopefully
Dave,
for your sake, they do what the Royals did, and that's the second time they won. So
they're playing Boston, which everyone knows Boston was by far the best team in the league all year in the major leagues. But we're going to give our picks. And I have to pick the Dodgers because me and Dave have a beard bet. I have a little beard. Dave has a big beard. So he got all the other teams in the Major League Baseball, in the Major League Baseballs, because there's more than one baseball, huh, Steve?
That's right.
And I have the Dodgers winning the World Series. And we made this bet after last year's World Series. And Dave, I was going to get a Clipper sound. Dave is going to have to shave his beard off if Dodgers win 4 more games this year. Dave, how do you feel about that? And do you still feel safe? Because you've been bragging all year. Your bragging might be costing
the
you.
108 win Boston Red Sox. For the first time, I'm going to show support.
Wow.
Shout out to my boy Chris Parker, who should be watching along with us. Huge Red Sox fan. So all year I said all this stuff about the Red Sox, even though I knew they were really good, and I even told them that the Astros were going to beat them, and now they're all I got.
29 teams have fallen. Well, 28
teams have fallen.
I just think I think they're a better team overall when you look at it.
They are. My biggest worry is how they play in the National League Park.
But see, I think their plan for that is good. Is putting Martinez in the outfield and moving Betts
to second.
To
I think
second.
they said.
So they're not going to really sacrifice too much.
We'll see.
All right. So Dave, you picked Boston. How many games?
I'm going to say, I don't want to be too adventurous. I'm going to say 6. They win it at home.
Okay.
It's a 2-3-2.
All right.
Although I'd love to see him win it in Los Angeles and see all those fans,
Definitely not doing that.
all the fake fans that just use their agency or whatever to get tickets.
Use their agency.
Please, none of the real Dodgers fans are going to be at those World Series games.
Hey, you'd be surprised.
I would be surprised. You're right.
Listen, I'm taking Dodgers, and they're not gonna win at home. They're gonna win in Boston. That makes it so much sweeter. You're gonna hear the Beat LA chants in Boston, and you're gonna be seeing home runs being hit in Game 6 to end it all. Dodgers in 6, right here. You heard it here first. Unnamed Sports Show. Quan 59. Dave shaves his beard the next day. It's over.
When is Game 6? Do we? I know the schedule is up.
I think it's the 30th. Because I know Game 7 scheduled
is
for
Halloween.
Why
the heck did they do that? That's just poor planning.
Oh, it's baseball.
You had the whole.
I'm sure Rob
365 days to
when
choose
has baseball made good plans?
I'm sure Rob Manfred will blame it on Mike Trout not being personable enough.
So Game 6 would be the 30th.
Yeah.
And so Game 7 would be the 30th.
Wednesday the 31st.
Oh, okay, so it's Tuesday.
Tuesday's Game 6. Game 7 will be a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay,
so Dave would be shaving on Thursday.
Yeah, in studio.
If it goes 7.
No, don't.
Well, no matter what,
don't pick 7 on yourself.
Well, no matter what, he's shaving on the 1st.
Trust me, you don't want that anxiety. That Game 7 it's not fun. in the World Series.
Yeah, I feel you. I think it would be fun.
Like I was so happy that the Cubs came back, made it interesting. I was like, oh, okay, we got it back to Cleveland. Good. We didn't lose at home. If we'd have lost in Game 6, it wouldn't have been that bad. But if we would have got all the way back to Game 7 and then lost, I probably would have slit my throat.
What's your prediction, Josh?
I'm on 6 with you. I was talking to my guys at church. I think that they're gonna steal one in Boston, and then I don't think you sweep at home, obviously, but I think they can win 2.
You get 2 at home,
and then you put yourself in a position like you just were with the Brewers. You're up 3-2. So if you get up 3-2, I was telling my guys at church, do not go to Game 7. You just went to Game 7 last year, so don't do it again.
Yeah. If you're watching live on Facebook, please share the Facebook Live video. And you can call in, give us your prediction, 702-608-3259. Once again, that's 702-608-3259. If you're listening on the app, we appreciate it. Make sure you download the Guerilla Cross app for free on iTunes and Google Play. We got live shows pretty much daily here on Guerilla Cross Radio. We have a lot of sports shows. Let the Ball Bounce every Tuesday and Saturday. Speak Live Radio this week is actually going to be on Wednesday. We're back. It's been a long time, but we got a live interview with Dayton from God Over Money. Supposed to be a week ago. Didn't happen, so we rescheduled. Unnamed Sports Show every Monday, 4 p.m., Thursday, 2 p.m., right here on Guerilla Cross Radio. Steve, who do you got in this World Series? And Cardinals are not in it.
And on that note, I'm hoping that it goes 7 games, and in Game 7, Bane shows up and blows up the stadium.
Wow.
I just got that. I was like, Aaron Baines?
No,
Wow.
the real Bane.
Bane.
I have a huge disdain.
Thank
for,
you, good doctor.
For humans?
Snaps his
for
neck.
For 30,000 humans?
But Josh, there ain't gonna be like Asian people there, man.
Oh,
Wow.
Actually, it's
Trust
L.A.
No, it'll be in they'll be in
That's in
Boston.
Boston.
In Boston if it's Game 7.
Still.
No, it's pretty white up in
It's-
in the
come
Fenway
on,
Stadium.
Well,
Josh.
come on, I live there. It's it
It's
is what
what?
it is. It's
It's pretty white, right?
it's all white.
yeah,
It's all right.
It's
'cause
it's not all right, but it's all white.
And my beef is not against the white people. It's really against
The Asians,
no.
they cook
Well, you
different
don't
I have
type of meat.
I've worked in the casino for 14 years,
Uh-oh. Here's a Steve story. Sit back, relax, folks.
and
You're going to hear the history of Steve's casinos.
all
Go ahead.
of the major problems I have been from people from literally
Asian women.
Los Angeles and Boston. I get the worst attitudes, the worst behavior.
Boston, really?
Really? Yeah.
I mean, I could see Los Angeles.
I can see L.A., but Boston usually
LA is the worst and the worst people.
and
Boston
it's-
just does the the hard Oz and the
yeah, and they are just as spoiled, or at least they come to Vegas and act just as spoiled,
interesting.
as if you're not bending over backwards.
That's
To-
what she said.
Yeah, to do that. Just terrible attitude.
All right, so
there-
who do you
there's some
got?
great
Who do you
people.
got in the series, Steve?
I'm picking Bane. No,
Picking Bane in 7.
I
Bane
feel
in
like
7.
LA is the underdog. I root for the underdog. I really don't have a horse in this race. I think Boston should win. I want to see LA win. No, they
You just want to see Dave's
haven't
beard
won.
get shaved.
It's not even about.
I honestly, like I told Dave earlier on my Facebook when he tried to come for me, I said, look, I was with you the whole season, and the closer it got, the more I was like, the beard goes.
The beard gotta go.
goes.
Nah,
Beard gotta go. Beard gotta go.
When did I come for you?
You said keep my name out your mouth.
Well, no, you came for me. See, there's
You
a
did start
difference.
it.
Yeah.
I think
I
I may
started
have.
nothing.
It was friendly though. It was in
You did
love.
start.
It
I
was
came
in
for
love.
you, but in love.
Yeah.
It was in love.
But in love. So
I
we
didn't
got
send memes after you.
my man Chris Parker said Red Sox, Mark Abernathy, Beantown in 6, liar. Les Pickett said Dodger Blue. I know what that means. He's from L.A. Compton. He was here in Vegas on Saturday for Let the Ball Bounce, so that was dope having him in the studio. And Melissa said Boston because she's a Cubs fan. And we know how Cubs fans get.
Well, I mean, I'm a Cub fan too, and I don't care for the Dodgers, but
Well, she
I just
actually
didn't-
likes the Blackhawks and like other Chicago teams.
That was just
Not just the 90s Bulls.
That was just
Sorry, I'm sorry.
uncalled for.
Sorry.
Again.
Don't change your pick.
Oh my, yeah, it's all right. See, the hate starts to flow.
No, I want Josh on that side. I don't want him on the side of my pick. I want Josh rooting against the pick.
I like how it looks like you've been growing the beard a little extra. You quit dyeing it.
He's
He quit dyed it. I never dyed it in the first place.
His beard was black 2 weeks ago.
Untrue.
Bro.
caught a few grays.
No,
It's
I
a little
always have
grays.
it. It's always fair.
very distinct.
We gotta search some of the replays and see because I don't remember it being as gray. But it is, a little bushier, so it's gonna be fun seeing that thing shaved.
No, I haven't trimmed it in a little bit. I figured,
show off what
show the pride.
He's been resting.
Showing I have no doubts.
the no fear, no
So
fear.
you're
days.
guaranteeing a Boston win.
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, he
Wow.
has
You have
to.
nothing to lose.
He has to. He has to guarantee.
Yeah.
That's his beard.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Wow,
Get
don't
out
care.
of here.
man.
Boston is a better team in all respects.
Yeah.
All?
All.
Every single respect?
In every single respect.
Wow.
Better managed. Better pitching if their pitching shows up right.
They don't got steroid poppy though.
No.
Wow.
No, but they got that jerk Manny Machado. Machado's a
Yeah.
punk.
Dave, you're usually the one that transitions the best, besides Caitlyn Jenner, but you transitioning into the NBA, man. The NBA season started. ESPN of course had to hype up LeBron's first home game like it was his first game back in
Hold up.
3 years.
Hold up.
What's up?
I love how you're acting like you weren't all about this the whole time.
I'm all about Laker preseason games.
Yeah, so I'm just like, you're acting like this is something that was offensive to you or some other craziness. And it's like you were all in for it.
ESPN overdid the hype for his first home game in LA.
Hey, well,
I would have watched that on Spectrum Sports.
can I ask you a
I'm a
question?
diehard Laker fan. I'm hyped up for it anyways.
Can I ask you a question, though? Did they?
Yeah.
Because it's the best rating since the Warriors were going for the 73 wins.
And that's great because they overhyped it, so it was good. It worked.
It clearly worked out. And we got a show.
And that game was so good.
It was a good game.
No game
Well-
that features James Harden and his nonsense is ever a good game.
Well,
All right, so let's jump into
there
it.
was something really good in that game.
Oh, well, I know what Steve liked.
I like seeing the fisticuffs.
I sure did.
So-
Oh, yeah.
James Harden, and I get Brandon Ingram. He's 21 years old. So James Harden goes up for a shot, slams his body into Ingram like he does to draw fouls all the time.
By the way, an elbow to Ingram's face.
And does it all the time, gets away with it all the time. So I understand Ingram is mad. He hits the stanchion, comes back around. Harden, like he does, walks right in front of him, knows that Ingram was walking that way, right? Do we all agree? Like Ingram's walking here. He walks this way right in front of him, acting like he doesn't see him. Ingram pushes him. You can't really do that, but I like seeing it.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Harden
even-
needs
even-
that
I mean,
because
even-
no one steps up to Harden like
Yeah.
that.
That's-
And the
Even
refs
exa-
always let him get away with this illegal move, which is usually off of a travel. He didn't travel this time, but it's usually him traveling, then slamming his body into the opponent, and then making an and one.
Now you wanted to see Ingram fight back, even though he can't bench press paper, but that's all right.
But he could
Yeah, man.
swing over 4 people to hit Chris Paul. His arm.
He's tougher than James Harden, I'll tell you that.
Well, don't. Well, yeah. Did you see the
Yeah.
picture of James that he was like at half court when the fight was happening?
Yeah.
He was walking the other way. So anyways, and then Ingram got in the ref's face, which I understand too. Like, you can't do that. But I understand, like, hey, you guys always call this stupid call that should be illegal, that anybody else that does it, besides maybe LeBron James and Manu Ginobili, gets called for an offensive foul. Harden never does. That's a clear offensive foul. So I could understand the frustration. And then your boy Rondo spits in Chris Paul's face. I don't know if it was an accident or on purpose.
It looked like it. If that
looked
was
a little
him,
purpose.
it was on accident. I don't think.
Because
look,
He had a mouth guard in, and
Yeah.
Chris Paul Chris Paul played it up because you could
Yeah.
see from when they finally showed the video,
Yeah.
their trajectory was down, and he was like he spit in his eye.
Yeah.
It looked more like he was blowing
Yeah, or
like
breathing,
spit off his
breathing, or
Yeah.
trying to yell.
Like sometimes, like you turn around and go,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
And
what it
real
looked
quick,
more like he was doing.
to kind of put that in perspective, you see when boxers are in their corner talking before they take the mouth guard out. If they try to talk, what happens?
Yeah.
They spit.
Comes out.
Oh yeah, you ever play with a mouth guard?
Yeah.
You're
Right,
spitting
yeah.
sometimes. It's
Yeah.
just a fact.
It's just
Yeah.
extra saliva.
So
you know,
yeah.
you know what I hate the most about James Harden? I hate the most about the Rockets is I'm here defending the Lakers, and I actually wanted the Lakers to win that game. It's such a weird feeling. I hate Harden so much. I hate Chris Paul's nonsense.
Whoa,
My thoughts on
you
Melo
hate
are well
Harden,
known.
and Harden was on your team.
Yes,
Was.
yes.
How do you hate him? Because if he was on your
I
team,
hate
would
watching
you
him play.
would you be mad if he was still on the Thunder?
Oh no, you take it. It's one of those things where you take it.
no,
when
this
you
is
have
this
to.
is the horrible stuff that I talk
no,
about.
you
with
take it.
fans.
You take it when you have
Well,
to.
If I hate you,
Doesn't mean I
hate
wanna
you
watch
today.
him
I hate
play.
you forever.
Well, look at the
My
flip,
hate is real.
Look at the flip side. Your boy on the Capitals, who we all say is dirty, but
Yeah.
you said the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
When he's on your team, no.
Yeah, that's right.
You want it.
But see, I don't hate
You
him.
see?
See the difference?
But
Well,
see, the
yeah,
difference
you
is
love him because he's on
Oh,
your
trust
team.
me. If Sidney Crosby came to the Capitals, I would be very, very upset. Like for a long time.
we're talking about.
Until he scored like 80
talking about a whole
points
different
and
thing.
be
I'm
like, all
talking
right,
about. I
let's
hate
go.
watching
haven't scored a
James
goal.
Harden play basketball. No matter how great he is, when he's on the TV, I hate it.
It's not fun
It
to
hurts me to
watch.
watch.
It's not
It
fun to
hurts
watch.
the game. He hurts the game. He's bad for basketball.
There's a lot of things going on in basketball that are bad for basketball.
None near as bad as him.
So Chris Paul puts his finger in Rondo's eye,
Yep.
which anytime, I mean, getting spit on even purposely is horrible.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that's
poking
the
the
worst of the
eye is maybe worse than being spit on, though.
No.
No.
I think
I don't want
Well,
anyone's
here's the
finger in my
thing, like-
eye. That
like-
could do a lot more damage than spit,
here's my
especially
thing.
if you got those long
spitting,
fingernails.
Spitting is more disrespectful,
Yeah.
but that's that whole like, angry pointing like in your face. That's a close second. But then if you touch me, in my mind, you assaulted me and the fist about to fly. So
Spitting,
just-
spitting is worse.
Just ask the court.
spitting is worse.
Look,
you gonna catch a two
The
piece
amount,
for either one.
the amount of spit that he got hit with was nothing. That was
it was
minuscule.
minor. It was
Now, if somebody hocked back and then in your face, oh no, that's
Yeah, you
ground
can't defend
right.
that.
dead.
Yeah.
Like everyone's seeing black at
Well,
that
in the
point.
Rondo had the best punch in an NBA fight in at least 10 years. We haven't seen any lands in a long. We have not seen. This is the first real NBA fight.
Have to think about it.
This is the first real NBA fight in close to 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It really is.
It was just. I remember sitting there. 'Cause it's after I'd gotten home from work, and I was just like, "Whoa, whoa!"
Yeah.
Yo, I stood up, and then we see Floyd Mayweather's in the front row.
Excited.
Brandon Ingram came from nowhere, almost landed. If he would have landed that, he would have had at least 10 more games on his suspension.
Yeah, if he would have landed, I mean, even as lanky as he is, if he would have connected from that distance, I mean, it wouldn't have been like the punch that almost killed Rudy T or anything.
But it looked like the same move, though.
Strangely enough, same teams.
That was
the same-
the
it's the same teams, yeah.
Same teams. That was the attempted Jermaine O'Neal sliding super punch.
Yeah.
Well, no, Jermaine connected on that, but
That
he
was the
slipped.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Almost killed Turtle. I'll never. Yeah, that was
That
that
yeah,
one
hey,
was
you know
something
what?
that
How
will never
long
be
ago has
forgotten.
that been? The Malice of the Palace.
That was 04.
That might have been
Dang.
the last good connect we saw an
Yeah.
NBA
Yeah.
player make.
No, that
Oh
was
no,
a little.
there were several
was
good.
a
I
lot
mean,
of
that was
good connects to that one.
that
He's
event
talking about
is
that
what I
night,
mean.
yeah.
That night
Steven
wasn't the last
Jackson
time.
still
But
gets
that's-
the
that-
the
but
hood
guess-
a year.
But
award.
guess who was in the building on Saturday night? Meta World Peace was right there.
As well, he
Um,
should be egging it on.
And then Shaq wasn't there for LeBron's first game in LA. He was actually at the Golden Knights game wearing a Golden Knights jersey.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Front row.
Why?
What size Golden Knight jersey do you think that is?
Bro, it was huge.
75.
That it looks like that. That's the size of Shaq's Golden Knights jersey back
It's just
there.
two beach towels sewn together.
The logo is like, oh my goodness, a mere mortal's chest.
So do you guys think these suspensions were accurate? Brandon Ingram got 4 games. He's going to miss tonight's game against the Spurs. Rondo got 3 games, and Chris Paul only got 2 games.
I'm shocked they were all that low, especially Ingram.
I like
running-
it, though.
Listen, I'm not against it because I mean, sometimes I think these things.
David Stern
Kinda
would have
need
given
to-
them all double-digit suspensions.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
and it's one of those things I understand, but the league is so clean with this stuff now. And I mean, a lot of this goes back to like Rondo and Paul legit hate each other. This isn't like
Yeah.
we're putting this on or
Yep.
this isn't a show. They hate
both same
their
position.
wife and girlfriend.
So wife and girl. I was
in the
trying to figure
crowd.
out how that happened because the wives sections are not that close.
Hey,
So when they said that, I was like, where?
hey,
They
I
never
think, I
sit
think,
that
I
close
think
to
they
each
were
other.
sitting close because LeBron's
LeBron's
girl,
right.
LeBron's wife,
Yeah, that would have made sense because LeBron's wife would have been
and
sitting
Chris
with
Paul's
Chris
wife were
Paul's
sitting
wife,
next to each other.
which would have
So
been the
Rondo's
Lakers.
girl was right there
Oh,
too.
okay. Well, then that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Because
Hey.
that's because in terms of player sections, they're never close to each other.
Yeah.
Honestly, for one of those reasons, because families start getting blah 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 blah,
Look.
and then that can turn into its own issue.
And there's videos of
Now I
Chris Paul
understand
and
why.
Rondo going at it for the past 10
Yeah,
years.
10 years,
So
yeah.
this has been going on for a long time between those two. So I'm glad it finally escalated on live TV. Listen, I love NBA fights. I watch them all the time on YouTube once a month. I love
nothing
old
better
school
than-
NBA fights.
Chris Paul's 2-piece of Kobe Bryant. That's a
Now, there-
Kobe and Nike had that like destroyed from the internet. You
And-
know how hard
and
it
the
is to
thing
find
is,
that fight.
I love a couple good side things from this. One was the seeing where LeBron's heart really is, and
Oh,
that
gosh.
LeBron wasn't with his teammates. LeBron was with his boy Chris Paul. So
Look,
Can we
think,
talk
say,
about that?
say
You
about
know-
that
you
to
know
what?
what?
You will. And my second thing was Carmelo Anthony doing Carmelo Anthony stuff, like trying to get stuff reignited, while Brandon Ingram's being held back by two people. There's Carmelo, Mister. I want to get after you when you're getting held back. Mister, I'm not the one.
I don't know.
What a punk.
Ingram might have said something about Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, well, and you know what he said? Nothing. He
Exactly.
waited until an official could come get him before he started lunging towards him. While Ingram, who weighs like 170 pounds, is getting held back by
Hey.
two people.
I'm still
Look.
weak on Honey Nut Cheerios.
Either,
That's still one of the best.
either you
stories
about
of all
that
time.
life or you ain't. And
Well, but the problem is Carmelo professes how much all the time he's about that life, and
Nah,
he
he
clearly is.
yeah, he's
Not.
clearly not. Rondo's
Stop.
girlfriend is though.
Rondo's girlfriend was ready to go.
Hey,
I'm
now,
like,
Steve, what do you think about LeBron? Listen, I understand,
All right.
like you're breaking up the fight, you grab the person next to you, right? So he was the first person.
And it is
There,
like
Chris
his
Paul
best
was there.
friend.
They pull him away. But game one, LeBron says, "Don't pick." Somebody was on the floor. He was picking himself
Come-
up.
come,
LeBron said.
let your
LeBron
brothers-
said,
yeah.
"Yeah, pick your brother up. Don't let stay down.
yeah, stay down. Let your brother come.
let
get
your
you
brother
up.
let your brother pick you up." And he's saying, "Don't let the other team up, but get your brother." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So in this situation, the other team just happens to be his BFF. I understand him pulling him off the fight. You know what I'm saying? He's the players union rep. Chris Paul is up there in NBA status. So he pulls him off. But did LeBron stay with Chris Paul too long, rubbing his back, putting his arm around him, looking like his daddy?
I
Did
think
that last way too long?
I think
Because it looked a little cheesy to me.
that it's So here's my take on the whole thing. Because I watched that part because everybody's talking about he was holding Chris Paul and caressing him and he's
Not
you know what I mean
caressing him.
like they were just
my God.
about to go get a room together. But
They've already had
I
one.
watch it and as the fight goes on, if I'm in a fight and you guys are there, never grab me off the guy unless the police are coming. Like grab the other guy. And this is why.
Heck no, because
No.
then you gonna swing and hit me too. I'm
No.
gonna go get you.
But if you grab me and I'm in a flurry, I might hit you, number one, or you're holding my arms and he can hit me.
Steve,
That's why you grab the other guy, right?
I can tell you 100%
So-
in
Well,
that situation.
two things.
I'm just getting out of the way if you're ready to go.
So
Two things, Steve. The first thing is I'm not letting it happen. The second the first punch gets thrown, I'm already grabbing somebody out, and then
all right.
there's
and
no
this is what I'm saying,
rules
like-
in this thing. You just
Like,
grab.
I get that. But if you can think about it, that's what you do. So I'm watching this thing and I'm thinking, okay, LeBron did the right thing. He grabs Chris Paul, pulls him away, right?
Yep.
Now, they go off in the corner and start talking about something. He's calming them down, whatever. I still think that's cool. Then he walks over to the bench. In order for me to say this is okay, I need to know what was being said there. And without knowing that, you don't do that, man. Like once you got Chris Paul off, you hand him off to one of his
You have to
teammates.
know what Chris Paul was saying.
No, I need to know what was him and LeBron talking about. Like
LeBron,
what-
he's spitting my face.
Like, I don't
That's all he was saying
like,
the whole
I don't
He's spitting
care.
my
Like,
face.
this is my team. I
he
got
said
you
that like
off
20
my,
times.
And then
I
you
got
got
you
caught.
off my boy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I pull you off my boy. We separated. Me and you still cool, but we gonna have to talk about this later. Right now, my team.
And,
need
and
me.
listen, this is
So,
LeBron's.
yeah,
This is a brand new team for LeBron, so you have to build that team chemistry. That's not the way to do it.
I'm just surprised that it took so long for people to be taking swings at Chris Paul. That should be happening like nightly. Chris Paul is dirty as can be. Chris Paul's a great player. I'm not disrespecting his game in any way, shape, or form.
And he's 1-0, by the way.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there in case Kareem's listening.
One of the dirtiest players.
I got my Chris Paul shoes.
Well, if Kareem's listening,
critiques.
7 for 44. So,
Poor Kareem.
Chris Paul connected
yeah.
more in that game than the Rockets connected in that game.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Wow.
But I don't know. Watching these two guys fight, though, I mean, other than the initial punch Rondo threw, I watched that fight like 8 times, and I was like, man, neither one of these guys can fight.
Yeah, but Chris Paul did connect a couple times. Give him
They
that.
did, but both of
while
them,
being held from and people all around to get a couple connections, even if they weren't the greatest.
If
I mean,
you look-
clearly Chris Paul is used to. He walks around like a tough guy. He clearly is not. I could tell that from the time that like Pau Gasol touched his head and he lost his mind.
Yeah.
watch. I'm gonna say this now. Watch the fight again. The first punch that's thrown, Rondo is looking at Chris Paul and he punches him. Every punch either one of them throw after that, they got their heads down and they're just swinging wild. Like
I mean, that's
it's almost like,
listen. For a basketball player to connect one time is good, so I give it to him. But moving on in the NBA, I want to talk about the high scoring in the NBA so far this year. This is the no defense league at all. The defense is horrible in the NBA this year. I've been watching a lot of games on League Pass, and there's just not a lot of defense being played. I can't really name one team that is like, yo, that's a good defensive team. Steve, trivia question: are you looking at the scores?
I am right now, actually.
Oh, well, I won't ask you then. I was going to ask. Every team yesterday scored 100 points except one. Who was that one team? Josh.
Yesterday?
There was 8 teams.
Listen.
One team didn't score 100 points.
I can tell
was-
you who it was.
I was
Well, 'cause you're
100%. I was 100% involved in my Redskins win. I did not even know there was basketball being played yesterday.
Wow.
Come
The
back to me.
most ironic thing ever, too. Like it's yeah, like
The Golden State Warriors are the only team that didn't score 100 points yesterday, which they were the team that started jacking up all these points in the NBA. For the NBA to say, like, hey, let's quit playing defense.
Embrace the score.
Let's not have, you can't touch any players anymore.
Can't breathe on each other.
But there was a game, I think it was Dallas, and who they played, it was like 140 to 135 or something like that on Saturday.
Yeah, that was the Dallas.
that was the other thing.
I know exactly which game you're talking
the
about. too.
Mavericks.
So, I
and
mean,
the
all these
Timberwolves.
games, I mean, Sacramento, OKC, 131 to 120. Oklahoma City lost, sorry, Dave, in Russell Westbrook's return. Atlanta, 133, Cleveland, 111. So we're just seeing super high scores. Denver beat Golden State by 2, and Golden State didn't score 100 points. Clippers beat the Chris Paul-less Houston Rockets. Chris Paul was in that tunnel waiting in case anything happened, though.
Sure.
115 to 112, and that's like, one of the low-scoring games of
But
this week so far.
I don't think it's necessarily that there's no defense being played. It's different. I think you're getting a few things are happening. One, things have definitely swung to the offensive advantage. It's not as pronounced as the advantage that offenses have in football. But
Well, I mean, you still have to score.
Yeah.
They're
well,
not,
and
they're not
the
trying
thing
to let
is
you
now
score.
they've maximized the efficiency so much, and now you have. I mean, look at how many actual quality basketball players, or at least quality scorers, there are in the league. There are a lot.
Oh,
There are a bunch of good point guards.
yes.
There are
Good
which
point
which
guards.
leads to a lot of good systems, a lot of guys that know exactly where to be. I think yes, some of this is there are some guys out there not playing defense, but there are some great defenders out there. Some of it now is defense now is running. Defense isn't physical anymore.
It's-
Defense is
that's-
I feel
Yeah,
that.
But
Yeah, I
that's
feel
the-
that.
that's the
It's
whole
about
thing.
getting
Like,
back. Yeah.
But I mean, if all you're doing is getting back and praying that they miss, that's not basketball. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Like you can spin the analytics however you want. You can talk about how great people are shooting now as much as you want. But if all I can really do is allow you to do certain things, and I can only put myself in as many positions to be advantageous to my team, or switching everything and all this other stuff, it's similar to football, and well, not as much hockey. You guys always talk about my Tom Wilson, but you know what I mean, all the games they're trying to dumb down the defensive aspect of the game as much as they can to allow high scoring. But it's like, to purists or to people that actually did play or do play, it's like that's not basketball. Like it's equivalent to going and playing pickup and that one person that calls foul every time they touch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
It's
right.
like, oh, foul.
But you're
It's
right.
like,
It's like that in every sport.
that
'cause
wasn't a foul.
we've seen that with football this year.
It's
I
all
mean,
to get
there's a
the young
lot of
market.
high-scoring games. There's no defenders can't do anything.
It's all to get young people interested because
Young
got
people
young-
suck.
I got kids in the house, and let
But
me tell
listen,
you,
we were young and
nothing has their
we
interest.
liked defense back in
I
the
know,
day.
yeah.
Like,
we had things called attention spans.
oh,
Kids right now have zero attention.
true that.
I have
but
kids in the house,
sucks.
and believe me, there is no attention span. Stuff has to fit on YouTube clips. That's why the NBA is so popular, because they're really
Yeah.
free out there on social media. They let you put stuff out there quick. It's just getting up and down the floor and running and jumping and scoring is fun. That's what the kids are looking for now. They look for fun. They look for action.
I hate
You're not
this
looking-
generation.
You're not looking at a lot of, but it's not just going to be this generation. It's going to be
The
worse as we
generation
go forward.
after it.
And
Oh.
a big part of it, and this is probably across all sports, is there's more emphasis on safety now. And a lot of these problems and issues that we come across are in the name of safety.
Yeah.
And that's why all these rules get made. And when anybody argues, they go, well, it's in the
to
name
make
of
the game
safety.
safer.
Right. So you can't clothesline the guard driving the paint anymore
Yeah.
because it's not safe. You can't hit the quarterback because it's not safe.
well,
Hey,
in,
bro,
in talking
don't be
about
bringing
that,
that stuff in
So
here.
It's
you know,
my
in,
paint.
in talking about that real quick, is that why, or that's the reason why I'm surprised that these suspensions with the Lakers and Rockets were
Right.
so low, because they are so concerned about safety. My other point with that is, were these suspensions so low because of the teams being like two of the marquee teams in the NBA right now? If it was
Oh, sure.
if it was the Hornets and the Raptors,
yeah.
would these suspensions have been higher?
Maybe not as much the Raptors.
Maybe
but
not the Raptors, Hornets
maybe
and Hawks.
the Pistons.
Yeah, Pistons.
Yeah.
I don't know that really impacted it at all, because you're thinking a lot of these people are like, well, Chris Paul's president of the Players Association, but like Players Association is the enemy, not your friend.
No, not in the NBA. The NBA and the Players Association
work
have
together.
They have the best. They have the most amicable relationship out of any of the leagues.
Right. Well, they wisely work well together. But I'm just saying, I don't think that shaved his suspension down any.
Shoot, well, I'll put it to you like this: you suspend him for 10 games and see how friendly he is on the other side of the daggone negotiation table.
You know?
But
That's
at the same
Well, I
time,
heard- I heard
10
too,
games is still like $3-4
Yeah.
million. That's still a lot of money.
but you have to remember, then why didn't Ingram get more time for being the instigator of the
Oh,
initial
well.
situation,
and
running
getting in the
and
ref's
throwing
face?
punches?
I thought that was at least 10 games, right?
You
there.
know, that was 4 games. So clearly, I think they don't think they have much of a problem right now, because realistically, most
There's
of
no-
their guys don't want to swing.
But yeah,
And
well,
everyone
it's-
loves-
Rajon Rondo is one
everyone
of those
loved it.
crazy random ones
He's one
that
of the
wanted
last
to go.
few.
And
He's one
Ingram
of the
has been
last few.
beaten on so much for being so skinny. I think you just caught a skinny guy that snapped. That's all that was.
Skinny guy. that's
Well,
fat.
and Rondo last year, him and
I-
Isaiah Thomas almost got in a fight in New Orleans,
Yeah.
near the end of the season.
They did.
I don't know. They actually said Chris Paul was going to receive a higher suspension, more games, but they figured he's going to miss 30 games for injury anyways.
I hate you
So
so
they didn't
much.
wanna-
That was well.
Well, I mean,
set up.
Well,
Is he wrong?
but it's
No,
so
it was well
true.
set
yeah,
up.
that's
That was a good job. who's writing back there for you? That was pretty good. That was pretty good on the fly.
God suspends him for a stretch every year.
Don't worry. Jesus will handle this. It's fine.
I will get you, Chris Paul.
Yeah.
It's okay. Do your dirt, Chris.
that's for all the
How's
dirt.
that hamstring feeling? Is it a little tight? Go ahead and play. You'll be fine.
Snap.
That's all right.
Done in the dark.
They look great with Melo.
Comes back in the playoffs.
Man.
Man.
What a pickup.
And what's up, Todd? Watching all the way from Las Vegas. Not in the studio. The Giants, oh, no, they didn't win. They're not even playing yet. But they'll lose tonight. We're going to get into our football picks in the NFL Week 7 in a minute. Any other thoughts on the NBA season so far? And everyone, it's so funny. It's like 2 and 3 games into the season, and people are already overreacting. Denver's better than the Warriors now. Houston Rockets, they beat the Lakers, then lose to the Clippers. Atlanta Hawks beat the Cavaliers. Cavs are horrible. Tristan Thompson said they're still the team to beat in the East.
Sure.
They're a really bad team, and it shows like how impactful LeBron was on that team, because they have this same exact team minus LeBron, add Sexton from the draft, Everyone else is pretty much exactly the same. And they just look horrible. Kevin Love might be an all-star this year just because he's putting up crazy numbers.
Free Kevin Love.
They have to trade him. But he signed an extension this summer,
He
right?
did, but they're trading him. There's no way they're getting past the trade deadline with him still there. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think it really just comes down to where they're at. I don't think they want to go into full-on tank mode just yet.
I don't think they have a choice.
By
That
trade
team is
deadline,
bad.
they will.
Well, but I mean, the team is bad, but at the same time, they don't like. Look, I'll say this: they just spent, what was it, 4 years without LeBron, and they were able to keep it afloat because they were able to get so many number one
They
picks.
didn't keep it afloat.
No.
They went all the way to the bottom.
Listen, keep it afloat in terms of profitability. They were still selling out. The people that couldn't get tickets when LeBron was there, now, oh shoot,
But
we got a
they
new
lucked out
number
with
one
Kyrie,
draft
though.
pick.
But that
They
was
still-
Kyrie.
No,
Kyrie was a beloved
no,
player.
I understand
especially by
that.
young kids.
I understand that. What I'm saying is they lucked up into that
Yeah.
situation to keep the momentum going, even though they weren't very good. If now the prospect of LeBron coming back is null and void, and you don't have a very good team, but these people that still wanted to see a team, if they're even marginally decent, then I don't think you make that move. Now, if they come out and they start crapping the bed, then it makes it a little bit easier.
And overreacting right now, they're 0-3, and one of those 3 losses is a loss to home at home to the Atlanta Hawks, which is supposed to be the worst team in the league.
Well, and Atlanta's not trying, but Atlanta's going to have some hot nights.
Well, Trae Young
Young's gonna
had
get hot.
35
35
last night. He looks good. He looks a lot better than he did in Summer League, obviously.
He's going to have some rough nights. He's going to have some huge nights. But, I mean, he's going to have a whole season of getting shots up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But his passing looks really good, too, right now.
That's the underrated part with him. He was getting assists, and there was nobody on that Oklahoma team in college.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling people. It's like, no, he's a great passer.
And he wants to pass. That's just as important as being able to.
Exactly. Any other surprises right now? All the teams that haven't won, Wizards, Bulls, and Cleveland in the East, Lakers and OKC. So all of our teams haven't won.
It's tough times.
Steve, what's your NBA team?
Man,
Spirits.
That's a hard one.
Steve,
Yeah.
do you have an NBA team?
I really don't.
You kept that real tight-lipped.
I really don't. I mean, I was running with the Spurs for a while.
Oh, wow.
I'm just a big Pop fan. I'm a big fan of Pop. Like
Soda Pop,
Big
Popovich,
fan, big fan of soda pop,
Pops,
big fan of soda
Sprite, and
Pops
Coke.
Phillies cheese steaks,
I ain't been there in a while, bro.
Popeyes.
That's
Oh, I haven't
good.
been to Pops in a minute. That's true.
Yeah, man.
Good call.
We should
should
see if
get
we
them
can
to
do a show
sponsor.
there.
We should get them to sponsor. Hey, the all Philly special. We only
Oh,
doing
no.
Philly teams.
Oh, no.
Desiree will be
Desiree
there.
just heard
Hey,
you,
look,
even if
look.
she's not listening. Oh, no.
Desiree's
Spider
somewhere in her.
sense.
Don't
her-
answer the phone.
Her ears started ringing like someone just said
Don't
Philadelphia.
answer the phone.
And listen,
In Las
we're
Vegas.
going to talk about Desiree in our NFL segment
Yeah.
coming up in a minute.
Desiree can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Dave, give us your picks. NBA Finals matchup and winner MVP. Is that all we did last week?
That was it. We
I
should
don't
have been.
think we really went-
player.
I think
we
I
didn't
gave
go
you
to-
those, but you probably couldn't even hear me because I could barely talk.
Well, you hung up when Steve said
Yeah, you hung up on me when I said
Steve
the
said
Lakers
something.
would beat the Warriors.
100%. Yes, I did hang up on you for that.
don't say it again, Steve. We don't want Dave to leave the room.
I might have.
There's
I
a
might have to
walk
go.
off.
Might have
It's
to
a
go.
walk off.
I think where I was at was Warriors, Celtics, safe picks. Although I think there are some dark horses in the East. The Warriors are coming out of the West. The Warriors are winning.
The Raptors look good.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Kawhi looks
the
gangster
Raptors
right
aren't
now.
even the Raptors aren't even a dark horse, but the
Ooh.
Bucks and my MVP pick, if Giannis, are a definite dark horse because with an actual coach, they
Yeah.
look good. Because
Yeah.
it's basically like Giannis and shooters.
Oh wait, who's their coach? It's
Budenholzer.
oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, they
Bruce.
got-
Okay, yeah.
no,
that's
Giannis is gonna have a
He's
great
a real
year.
coach.
Yeah,
No, he is.
and they
He's
did
a
not
real
have real
coach.
coaches. They had Jason Kidd and Prunty last year. They were
And
awful.
I like Kidd. I don't think he's a horrible
No.
coach. I just think he needs to be an assistant
Well,
longer before he gets the head
I
coaching
think
job.
he's not a
Desiree
good
just
head
popped
coach.
up. I think my thing on Kidd is this. I think Kidd, he's a coach with a supreme ego, so it's very hard for him to put himself second in terms of his team. Phil Jackson was like that, but Phil Jackson in the beginning wasn't Phil Jackson. He was the assistant coach that took over and then found a new system that worked for him.
Well, it's tough to be a
Um,
great player and a coach too. To be
yeah.
like a Hall of Fame player
yeah.
and then a coach because there's certain things that you can communicate that you don't really have the ability to communicate. You just know how to do.
Who have
Right,
been them?
right.
Casey Jones.
You can't even count that.
Why not? He was a freaking Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but I get that. But what I'm saying is, as far as a coach, he was rolling them out.
Well, I mean, he had a team.
Yeah.
He had a squad.
I mean, I think Larry Bird was the best one, but
Bird.
Larry Bird was more of like a CEO. He like delegated. I mean, look
Yeah.
at his assistants. Like Carlisle basically just like ran his defense, who turned out to be a great coach.
But a lot of good coaches do that too, though.
Yeah,
That's part of good
Of
coaching.
course, I think Larry Bird was one of the best. Was one of the best examples. Magic was a terrible example.
Oh, and he knew that.
I think that's the
Isaiah,
like Dave said. I mean, I think that's
Shoot,
the
Isaiah's
huge difference is when you're a great player. There's a large group of things that you just can't coach. You know what I mean? They just
I did it.
it just doesn't translate into
Yeah.
words, and this is how you do this. Like
Yeah.
you can't teach heart, you can't teach courage, you can't teach I'm out of breath and my chest hurts, but I'm still gonna drive the lane and try to score. Like you can't necessarily coach or teach those things. And
What's going on with their job?
Desiree.
Yeah.
Desiree
I
making
was
her
like, what is
presence
going
known.
on? Yeah.
Well,
Desiree
and-
making her
and
presence
now
known.
She doesn't want to hear our football
I
segment.
think now some of these guys would prefer to be coaching like some of the guys now, because like guys now seem to want to get better. Could you imagine when you were coaching like the Tim Thomases of the world,
Oh gosh.
when you wouldn't cross between 3-point lines for entire games, like coaching that whole generation? I don't know how anybody was a good coach at that point.
Eh.
Yeah.
It was honestly the good ones were running on fumes.
Yeah.
We still had enough of a lineage. Now it's like, who are you people? I don't even know who you are. Where did you come from? What's your
Yeah.
tree? Well, I coached under such and such at Prairie View State. Like, oh, we're in trouble. Yeah, it's gonna be a long year. Oh my goodness.
Wow. All right. Moving on. That's pretty much it in the NBA. Yeah, that's it.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year. I'm gonna go with. That's hard because no one's playing defense. I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis, and I picked him for my MVP.
Yeah,
also.
that's my thing with Davis or Giannis this year. Both of them could have a shot at a double. But Davis is playing well.
I'm gonna go Kawhi.
Possibly.
That's my MVP pick, and that's
With
Thank you,
I
defense.
think with the amount of eyeballs that he's going to generate from a down year by all respects last year, I think that if the Raptors come out and they do some special things, they go get 55 to 65 wins. I think his stats will be there if he plays. Now, if he's not playing back to back, so they start doing weird stuff. Because when you said that, one, I didn't even realize the game had finished. But when you were like, yeah, they didn't even have Kawhi, I was like, why didn't he play? And I was like, oh, it was a back-to-back.
Oh yeah, we
But-
didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
How they lost, how Wizards lost at home
Yeah.
to the Raptors without Kawhi.
Because the Raptors look good, and I actually when the
Did
Raptors
you watch the game? Did you
no
watch it?
I watched the Raptors Celtics the night before,
Yeah.
and that was like high level basketball. Like they were like it was, and they were playing defense. Like both teams were playing defense, but they were getting good shots. Like it was
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward was
Nurse
getting
looks like a real coach too.
yeah,
they
Hayward,
look good.
Gordon Hayward was getting whatever he wanted. Like he was getting to the cup, he was getting pull-ups. I was like, okay, Gordon Hayward is gonna make them. I really didn't know how that was gonna work out,
Yeah.
but he looks
It's going to
pretty
take
good.
time, because the one thing you look at with that Celtics team is they have a lot. They have a lot of players. I mean, which you normally figure like, oh, that's a great thing, but it's like, no, you got a lot of guys out there who actually deserve to be out there playing. And
But I think the
Guys
thing
are
with
getting
that
shorted minutes.
is, Dave, that a lot of them are young, so they might deserve to play. Like Jaylen Brown might deserve more minutes, but he's not going to get as many because Hayward's there.
yeah.
Same thing with Rozier. He's not going to get the minutes he got last year, and he's going to be the odd man out, I think, in Boston this year.
but he wants to get paid, so I mean, he's playing for a contract too.
Yeah, but with Kyrie there, if Kyrie stays healthy, that's a big if. Also, talk about injuries.
I felt
but-
like Tatum did too much at the end of that game versus the Raptors. Like he was trying to prove that he was as good as everyone said, and I'm like, dude, give the ball to Kyrie.
yeah.
bro.
Like, what are you doing right now? Like he
Bruh.
was just
he been hanging out with Kobe. What do you expect this man to do?
look here, man.
What do you-
Win 5 rings? I
What
don't
do
know.
What
No,
do
you
expect
better
this man to do, bro?
listen. You better do like Kobe in the
Look.
beginning and be smart.
Hey,
Well, be careful in the state of Colorado, Jason Tatum.
Wait, what would be the opposite of Colorado?
St.
For-
Louis.
for Boston?
For yeah,
when
for
he
Tatum.
goes home.
Let's
like,
see.
it's just-
Let's see.
Stay safe, young brother.
Montana.
Don't listen to your Uncle Larry Hughes about anything,
Oh my God. Larry's a great
or
guy.
cousin or whatever.
All right, going to NFL Week 7. Josh has a lot to talk about
Oh yeah.
for this week. And you have one more. You got 3 down, or 2 down, 1 to go tonight in the NFC East
Oh yeah.
for your squad just to keep rising up. Some good games yesterday, man. We'll go ahead and start with your Washington football squad.
I appreciate that.
We
Appreciate that,
don't
dude.
like saying the name here because it's racist, but
Redskins.
Josh loves saying it.
It's the Redskins. No problem. No qualms. I love all of my native friends.
And he said qualms, not quans. There's-
Just to clarify.
just to clarify.
Just to clarify.
All right, talk to us about this game. It went down to the wire.
Ugh.
Another kicker lost a game for a football team.
Well, hey, listen, but he had been 16 for his last 16.
But then there was a penalty that pushed them, 5 yards back?
5-yard back.
Whew.
Yeah.
How scared were you? Because
No.
Washington, their last offensive drive was horrible. They
No.
had 147 left and just,
You want me to tell you how scared I was?
yeah.
I didn't even know. I had to. I had to. I had a meeting. I had a real estate meeting.
You thought they won the
And-
game.
No. I didn't know. But I got out of the car when we had the strip sack to go up 10, and it was like 4 minutes left, and I was like, okay, as long as no funny business happens, as long as we don't turn the ball over or do something stupid or we like having an instant 3 and out, we should be okay
Yeah.
winning this game. So when I saw that we won 2017, I was like, oh, okay, won by a field goal. That's about right. But then I looked at my phone and one of my friends was like one of my friends from LA was like, are you watching this game? And I was like, oh, it must have got a little bit more interesting than just that 3 points. So when I actually saw the highlights, it was like I said, the Redskins, the biggest thing I can take away from yesterday's game, the biggest 2 things. The first one is our defense. I told you our defense is getting better. To hold Ezekiel Elliott to only 33 yards on 15 carries is nuts. So to be able to do that for an entire game, because we can usually do that for a period,
Yeah.
a quarter and a half. But once you start getting in the third quarter, and by that point, if you're still up, they're going to stop running as much. So to hold him, that was the first part that I really took away from the game. And then the second was Alex Smith. Alex Smith has to he's got to be better. He's got to be better. He had a wide open touchdown to Sprinkle, our third string tight end, on a rollout in the third quarter that really would have started to give a little bit more wiggle
Yeah.
room. And when I watched the game, it was like a quintessential Redskins Cowboys game. The Redskins played well, but then we started making field goals when the Cowboys start getting touchdowns. And when it comes down to it, you can't do that. So it almost bit us. But
And you weren't watching. I was watching that game in that last drive. Dallas scores. There's under 2 minutes left. Washington gets the ball, and they pretty much just gave it right back to him.
yeah,
And I think that was my biggest problem with Alex Smith beyond missing some of the passes is the fact that he didn't, everyone calls him a game manager, but that's the time when you need your quarterback to really manage the game and manage that clock. And they gave it, it was 4 and out on that play to give Dallas even the opportunity. All they really needed was Dallas, I believe, had all their timeouts.
yeah. Well, they were working him down, and if he would have stayed in bounds, it would have forced them to use that.
Stay
last
in bounds, get another first down, something to at least get it. Even if Dallas gets the ball back, you get the ball back with 20 seconds left, not a minute something left. To be able to do that, go down there, kick a field goal. If that field goal would have went in, they go into overtime, and who knows what happens, then. So
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. This week coming up, if we can back 2 wins up with a third, starts to change around the season.
Yeah.
So, our season, in the beginning of the year, you looked at it, it was a little bit more nerve-wracking, especially when, Fitzmagic was coming out and looking insane. I was looking at that week, I think 12 matchup with the Bucks, a little bit more nervous. Now I'm like, bring on the Bucks.
Yeah.
The Jaguars beginning of the season, everybody was like, oh, the Jaguars are going to be pretty decent.
Can't wait to talk about them.
Now it's like, well,
Yeah.
bring on the Jags. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what they end up doing.
So the Washington football team is 4-2. Eagles are in second place, 3-4, and they're in second place because they lost a game that everyone that's a Philly fan swore they won. I was getting tagged in posts from your good friend and a caller of the show, Miss Desiree.
Miss Desiree.
I told her, she tagged us in that post, and I told her, like, hey, every time you tag me in the post for the game,
they lose.
the Eagles lose. She said, nah. And Eagles were up when I said that. They were up by at least a good 10.
Oh, wow.
And I took my little nap. You know what I'm saying? I took my Sunday afternoon nap. I woke up, and I was dying. Because sure enough, the Eagles lost. Don't tag me anymore, Desiree. I will keep putting that curse on your Eagles. They're not going to win any game you tag me in.
It's not smart. I told her the same thing. Like when
Don't do it.
When you said that and I like looked at it, I was like, what? Yeah, you can't do that. Don't. I personally don't do that until
Don't tag
after,
the haters. Exactly. You
until
tag the
after
haters
game,
afterwards.
Like after the game.
Because I did that last week for the Packers Niners game. Niners had it wrapped up. So I'm like, okay, it's safe. I can talk junk. Nope. Right when I started talking, what happens?
Was
Aaron
Aaron Rodgers
Rodgers.
still breathing?
With
Aaron Rodgers.
Unless they cart him off with a ventilator on his face,
Man.
you need to go ahead and just wait.
Yeah, it was
Wait
bad.
a
Yeah,
few
you don't
more
talk
moments.
when he's there until until they have told you that he will not be returning tonight. If he's still playing, you stay quiet till the very end. He's reached that status. He's like the boogeyman. He's John Wick out there.
We need 2 touchdowns. We only
Right.
got 13 seconds left.
And Aaron's in
Yeah,
a wheelchair.
I wouldn't say it.
We'll figure it out.
I
Give him the
wouldn't.
ball.
I wouldn't say anything as long as there was time on the clock.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And Dallas is tied with Philly at 3-4. The New York Giants are 1-5 in that division. They play tonight against the Atlanta Falcons. We'll give you our picks for that in a minute before the game starts in 5 minutes. Dallas made a trade today. Some of the Raider fans were going crazy thinking it was a bad trade. We knew it was going to happen.
That
We
was a
didn't
good
know
trade.
who was going to happen before. We didn't know what they were going to get. I thought a second-round pick at best. Amari Cooper, he's one of my favorite Raiders, but he has not been playing good the past year and a half. So they trade Amari Cooper to Dallas for a first-round pick. What do you guys think about this? Jerry Jones has given up first-round picks before. Was it Joey Galloway? Didn't he give up like 2 first rounds for Galloway back in the
Yeah,
day?
it was
He
bad.
did. He did.
He's given up, and he wouldn't do it for Thomas. He wouldn't give up that first-round pick.
Well, I think the thing with them is just it's all splashy. It's all a name. When you have a guy like Cooper, who I think is very good, but Cooper's not a physical specimen. Cooper is everything needs to go right, run crisp routes, good hands type of player.
Well, he was at his best when Crabtree was out there,
Yeah,
assisting and taking away
Yeah.
coverage. They
you
were
need
taking
you
the
need
coverage away
someone
from
to
each other.
stretch the field
Mm-hmm.
opposite him, and they still don't really have that. Well, I mean, you're not going to stretch the field with Dak Prescott anyway, but
No,
No.
you're not.
Shoot, he
But-
he threw that bomb on target to Gallup yesterday.
He'll get one or two.
but they're like it's a first rounder. That's rough. I mean, when you look as the Raiders, like, oh yeah, you got a first rounder, but look who's spending that first rounder. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Raiders,
but
Raiders won the trade. It's not like this really
Yeah.
makes Dallas better, and the Raiders are already bad. So
But they have 3 first-rounders now, so, they traded one for Khalil Mack.
three swings to mess up.
So now, you got to go in the draft. You got to get a pass rusher. You need to get a wide receiver.
Raiders now have
'Cause they
5
gave him
number
up.
one.
Well, and that's
they
the
gave him
thing is
up.
because realistically, they could have been fine in 2 of those spots, especially one of them. So
Well,
But I'm not mad at the Amari Cooper trade. I am mad at the Khalil Mack trade. But
But-
the Amari Cooper trade, like I said, and like you said, like he hasn't been playing as well recently. And that does save money.
It does. I mean, but like I said earlier, before the show, if they start running the Belichick play and they start trading these picks that they acquired, down depending on where the Cowboys end up. If the Cowboys, just tank the season or just have a rash of injuries and they don't do well, and now that's a top 10 pick, you trade that back and you replace it with a 15th pick or whatever, and but then now you have another set of picks next year. I think that's really the play. I don't know why more teams don't do it. Because unless you're like completely in love with someone, if you're not, trade back and
Can I
pick up more.
steal something? Speaking of being in love with someone, when we're talking about Gruden's talent evaluation, I'm going to read you his thoughts about a player from the 2017 class.
Okay.
He is ready to walk in and be a contributor from day one. He just looks like a pro quarterback, coming out of the huddle, running an offense with different formations, shifting, motioning, different patterns that other colleges don't run. He will recognize route combinations and associate formations. We'll keep going. Most importantly, he'll be able to get into a huddle from day one and look at 10 grown men and tell them where to go and what to do and handle a versatile snap count. He is sharp. He's in the channel. I think of the process. I think he's going to be a real good pro quarterback. I think any team in the league, you can cater your offense for him. He's a lot more athletic than people think, and he can handle an extensive amount of football. So the teams that are really ambitious with deep, thick playbooks, those are the teams that he would fit in with. But I hope he gets one of those guys that can really challenge him and stretch him. The player that he's talking about,
Josh Allen.
Nathan Peterman.
Oh, gosh. The 17 draft.
Yes, Nathan
I was
Peterman.
trying to figure out
Oh
what
my
draft you were talking
gosh.
about. I heard you.
I thought you were
the
talking about
worst,
this year.
the
I
thought he
worst
said it.
quarterback in the history of the NFL. A quarterback so
Wow.
bad that the Bills brought in Derek Anderson off the street, who's terrible, started him.
The Derek Anderson.
Yeah,
Yes,
Derek
the
Anderson.
Derek Anderson.
Yeah.
Derek
Because
Anderson from the Browns.
Yes,
Derek
has
Anderson.
resurrected from the dead.
because Allen is hurt, and the team
Steve, I
will
don't even
so
understand if you
turn.
understand what just happened.
The
Bruh,
team will so turn on them if they start Peterman again that they brought in
Wow.
Derek Anderson, and he just rolled in off the street, led him to 5 points.
Again, Colin Kaepernick
Look,
Yeah,
still
man,
exists in
I
this
mean,
world.
There you go.
Look.
Wow, Derek Anderson's like he's got to at least be like 35 plus.
He's just bad.
No,
It
No,
doesn't.
he's-
It
he's
doesn't
he's
also
got
matter.
to be that old.
He's bad.
Yeah,
and old.
it doesn't even matter how old he is.
Well, no,
He's
you know what I'm
just
saying
bad.
because like that was he was on the Browns. That was
But
when Kellen Winslow was
By the
there.
way, as a Bills fan, when it's like the alternative is like, is it this or starting Peterman? It's like, well, let's see what Derek Anderson has something in there.
We'll see what the ghosts of Derek
Look.
Anderson have to do. That's
Derek
crazy.
Anderson made a Pro
They
Bowl.
were going to try to get Steve DeBerg.
He did.
I'd taken a shot with that.
I've told y'all time and time again.
Vinny
John
Testaverde
Gruden
was
is
coming
not good at anything, and every week nobody ever has anything good to say. But I said it weeks ago, months now. John Gruden is horrible.
And Derek
Yeah.
Anderson is 35.
Nice on the head.
Yeah.
That's
He looks
Wow.
older. He looks older than me.
I nailed it.
Oh,
Just
you
right
did.
on.
Good job.
Oh my god.
I just said good job. I don't know.
Nothing.
What else do you want? Do you want a cookie?
No,
Dave, is there a cookie over there for
just,
Josh?
I just don't want the crazy face as if
I didn't make, I
everything
didn't
has
make a
to
face.
be a.
I didn't make a face.
But
Never
let's
mind.
just remember that's
We'll
the
move
person
on.
who's picking those 3 first-round picks next year.
No, that
Right.
The
look,
person who was in
that's
love
true.
with Nathan Peterman.
That is true, and that is very scary.
The person who got rid of Mac and said it's so hard to find a good pass rusher.
Yeah.
Like what the-
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I think John Gruden has CTE.
He was right.
That would be like Jay.
Yeah, I think
That'd be
John
like
Gruden has
Jay-Z
CTE.
dumping Beyonce and be like, "Man, it's hard to find a wife that's richer than you."
Wow.
That makes a lot of
Oprah
money.
is all that's left.
Independent and can
Kanye, what's
sing
Kim
very
doing?
well.
Oh my.
Hell
God.
I'm running through the rest of the scores. Denver on Thursday handled Arizona 45-10. Chargers beat the Titans by 1 in London. How many games are in London? There's
They do
3
several
in a
now.
row.
It's like 4, I
Yeah.
think.
Hey, don't sleep on it, but I mean, there is a need for the Raiders to play somewhere next season.
They could play in London next year.
Wow.
Why
Oh,
not do
that's
it?
Dark horse. I said San Antonio
Why bring a whole
Yeah.
nother thing in the mix when you could have a team that London could be their home team?
because Jacksonville already freaking is like staked their flag down in London, and he's
Well, then move there.
Well, he's trying.
Nobody in Jacksonville cares.
Oh no, Jacksonville cares enough, but he is trying. Trust me.
Blake Bortles plays a lot better over
Wow. And we're going to talk about that in a
Wow.
minute. New England beat Chicago. Buffalo, 5 points, Dave.
there. Yeah, a whole 5.
37-5. They
Still-
lost to the Colts, who the Colts are not that good of a team.
How you get 5 points?
I
They
mean,
get a
it's
safety
field
and a
goal on
field
safety.
goal?
Safety and a field goal. That's
Safety and
it.
a field
That's
goal.
the
Way to
only
do it.
possible way to get 5 points.
I'm really asking just how.
It's
Like,
it's not a
just-
common stat line, that's for sure.
Yeah.
At any point in the game, but they're
It's
like
as
getting
I
11.
said before the season,
Right, yeah.
it's a miracle that they have a win. It's a beyond a miracle they have 2.
Yo, and we got a caller live on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You already know where I'm from.
Desiree from Philly via Las Vegas. How about those Eagles? How'd you lose that game, Des?
I was really hesitant to call today.
Yeah, I respect it.
You should have been hesitant. You should have been very hesitant.
Tell us what happened.
But I'm calling just to say we're still going to take the NFC East because our division is pretty weak anyway.
We are.
So.
The division is very weak, and look, I don't until we play you guys and hopefully beat you. It's still anybody's race except for the Giants.
Sorry, Todd.
Giants are probably out of
Except
it.
for the Giants.
Oh, see,
There we go again.
There you go with the Giants
Yeah, we
again.
say yes.
Welcome to Guerilla Cross Christian Radio Station.
As she cackles.
My bad. No, I'm really disappointed. Like I was going through my blog and my phone was.
She sounds so down right
and
now.
I was like, I am because I don't have much to say, which is not frequent for myself. But even at work today, I'm like, don't talk to me. Just keep walking. People are like, hey, don't talk to me. But what happened? Don't talk to me, please. It was just sad because we literally, it's like this Super Bowl team. Like we had this Super Bowl team that was not a fluke, and we're coming into the season playing like crap, losing stupid games by.
Hey, Desiree.
Well, Desiree, they're
points.
they're a former Super Bowl team.
Don't listen.
That was
Desiree.
last year.
Desiree, listen.
It's a brand new team.
Listen, you enjoy. Listen. You enjoy your win. You enjoy your win, and you don't.
Oh
allow
no, they enjoyed
anything-
their win already.
Yeah, that's right. And look, this season doesn't even matter, girl. You supposed to be straight if you guys go Browns winless for 5 straight years. You'd be like, you know what? But we won in 18. Like straight up.
No,
like
That's more than I can
can't
say.
do that.
Hey.
The reason why I think the downside to that is because people talk so much trash
Screw
about the
'em.
season last year. And
See,
and
but
this, that, and the other.
you gotta humble yourself.
I don't care.
Well, you've been You
You're
have
right.
not
That's
stopped talking
difficult
trash
because of my
since the playoffs last year, and now you're in physical
You're right,
pain
Steve,
because
and
people are
you're
talking
right.
trash to you.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not in pain. First of all.
Oh no, you sound like you're in pain.
You sound like you are in physical pain.
You
right now.
sound like you are on the verge of tears. Like if I was like if I told you right now that Carson Wentz fell down a flight of steps and retore his ACL, you'd be like, what? That would be it. That'd be too much for you on a Monday. That would... exactly.
I'm going out to the bridge right now.
Wow.
No, it was really difficult to watch. Like it was just deteriorating in the fourth quarter in front of my face, and I was like, no. I mean, I literally drank 2 bottles of wine in the finish of the game. I couldn't stop. I was like, what are y'all
She
doing?
drank her sorrows
Y'all are
away.
killing me.
Oh
Cam
my
Newton
God.
got you.
Are we
Drank
blaming
my
Cam
wine.
Newton for this?
Cam
What?
Newton got you, man. He's dangerous.
Man. I mean,
Man, the fourth quarter, I was
Desiree,
just like, how many points?
Desiree,
What are we doing?
the Redskins beat the Panthers. Dang.
Oh.
I know.
Wow.
I had that conversation this morning. Like, what happened to you guys?
Yeah, Desiree,
That's
your team has allowed Josh
I'm
to
like-
be sitting in first place.
Like with a margin.
Yeah,
know.
with first place by a game and a half with a team that nobody, Josh included, thinks is that good.
Nope. Sure don't. Not yet. We got work to do. They're getting there though.
Oh,
They're
man.
getting there.
Wow.
They keep proving me wrong.
Well, the only work
I'll
that's going to
happy.
be
We
done is
have-
the work that
we
the
have-
Los Angeles Rams are going to do in that whole playoffs.
Very true.
We have 9 games to go, and Cowgirls twice,
Yeah.
Giants, Texans, Rams, and I think
Redskins twice.
missing one. Oh, the Saints. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Redskins twice, and then the Saints. So I'm really feeling.
That's a lot
like
of
we
losses
can
right
go-
there.
Yeah.
that's
So
a
you
tough
thinking
year.
like 3 more wins? Maybe
What?
is that what you're shooting for?
I'm sorry. What?
That's a lot of losses, Desiree.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it
No,
like
it's
that.
not. Who?
There's
is that Dave?
No, that's Quan
No,
5-9.
no.
That's at
No,
least
but,
five,
no, but I actually do agree with him.
that's at least 5 more losses.
I couldn't tell. No.
What,
I'm
all
sorry.
white people
I
sound the
couldn't-
same
I
to you?
All white
couldn't-
people sound the same. The
Hey.
racism over here, Desiree.
Hey, it is. Wait a minute. I'm about to walk around with black emojis with pale skin. Don't start with me today, Quan. Don't start.
no!
Don't start
She
with
came
me
for
today.
I
Quan.
love my black emojis.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Goodbye, Desiree.
I love my black emoji.
Goodbye, Desiree. Desiree, when are we doing pizza? You need to stop playing. You need to just pick a day.
Oh, don't start this
for
again
real,
because
like-
I had to listen to this last week.
We still haven't had no pizza. She
You guys went off on a 12-minute tangent last week.
Josh,
Yep.
what is your schedule like this week?
All right.
Hey,
What's your schedule
do
like?
this
You guys
personally.
can go ahead and text each
Here,
other.
Just hit me up later. Just hit me up later.
Thanks for the call, Desiree.
Thank you, Miss Desiree.
All
Appreciate
right.
you.
Wow,
Might be
making
s-
plans on the radio show.
Hey, man.
I might not be at my best, but I don't sound like one.
I think it's gonna hit her real hard next couple of weeks. This football season is gonna be real long. For
Oh
her.
no, this is a definite Super Bowl hangover this year. It's a
Oh,
good thing they
man.
partied as much as they did, because
I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be all right.
Look,
Now, I
Those
think,
teams she named, there's at least 5 more losses in there, which would
Well, the
have been
Cowboys
9
twice.
losses.
The Cowboys twice. The Giants one more time. That's 3 games where you probably should
be
win
wins.
2. Should win 2 out of that.
but I mean, you can still have like the Saints, 2 Redskins
Saints-
games.
the
They're not gonna
Saints-
be a
lot.
The Saints probably is gonna be a loss, depending on where it is. What else did she say? Are you looking at their schedule?
Jaguars.
Yeah, that's a win.
She got
It's a
Depends on
winish.
which
It's a
Jags.
winish. It's a
Depends on the
depends.
day. Who knows
Yeah.
with them?
yeah.
Well, and then
Jags
also
are up and down, and same thing with
Fournette.
the Eagles.
Fournette. You know what I mean? Once Fournette comes back, you don't know what the Jags are because that was a huge part of their team.
But Jags are this week coming up, so I don't know if he's going to be back yet, right?
I don't know.
I don't think he's going to be back.
I don't think so. They're
He's not
playing the
back
Jags
yet.
this week.
I mean, remember they made a
Well.
deal to bring in another running back. They
Yeah.
wouldn't do that if he was ready now.
And then they got the Cowboys at the Saints, Giants,
the
Redskins
Saints.
at the Cowboys, at the Rams. That's 2 losses in a row.
At the Rams. Oh yeah. That's not good. That's not good.
The Rams are working people.
That's a blowout.
Dude, they
Rams
hurt
are by
this
far
film.
the best
I don't
team.
think it's a blowout. The Rams don't really blow many people out.
What are you talking about?
We
The
just
Rams
talked,
have several double-digit wins this
we
year.
just talked about it last
Rams
week. Dave.
39-10. Rams beat the team they played yesterday 39-10.
Yesterday, who did they play?
The other team.
49ers.
The
The Niners was hot trash. All right, moving on.
They almost beat Green Bay.
Well, the Redskins handled Green Bay.
All right, moving on real quick. Let's pick tonight's game because it started already.
Oh, fair.
It's 0-0. New York Giants at the Atlanta Falcons. 2 teams that suck really bad. We're not going to watch any of this. We'll watch the highlights and we'll talk about it on Thursday. I got the Falcons winning this by 20 points.
Wow.
Wow.
Jesus.
I can't even argue with that.
Falcons, but they'll win by like 10. 8-10.
All right.
I ain't picking the Giants.
Oh, Falcons. Who cares?
Falcons. Yeah.
Falcons, who cares? He said, oh, you need a pick for me. Falcons, who cares?
I'm sorry. The Rams played 3 close games.
Yeah.
Well, 1 touchdown game,
Yeah.
a 33-31 game, a 23-20 game. But then it's
Yeah.
They
They had 2 blowouts.
35-23, 34-0, 33-13. So
Oh, wait. They had 3 blowout games?
yes,
Oh, okay.
I believe 4, counting yesterday.
39-10.
39-10, 35-23, 34-0, 33-13.
33-13. Yep.
Don't worry, they got plenty of work for everybody.
Let's
Everybody
see
getting
here.
that business.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley's
They
going to
too-
get to 30
The
touchdowns.
Raiders,
They
the
too good.
Cardinals. I mean, the Redskins beat the Cardinals by 20-something. And we have no offense.
Rams too good, man.
Hey, but they're not losing.
No,
to
they're
nobody.
not. They're not. I can concur. That's true.
I agree. They haven't lost the game.
They are still
I see
7-0.
the standings.
I mean, I think that's the thing is they beat all the teams they're supposed to. They should beat everybody.
That's
but
good.
they beat all the teams they're supposed to beat, and the teams they should blow out, they're blowing them out.
That's
Like,
that's the most important
they've
thing
dealt
that a
with-
good
thing,
team
yeah.
They've
does.
dealt with injuries,
Yeah.
and they have won games that they should not have won by the way they played. They
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
poorly in some
And
of those
still
games
won.
and still won. So, I mean, it's not always about blowing teams out. It's winning the games that you probably shouldn't win that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The NFC West is hot trash juice though.
They're bad.
Yeah.
The
That's
Niners
probably the
are
worst
1-6.
division in the league by far.
The Cardinals are 1-6, and Seattle is 3-3.
Which Seattle being 3-3 is
is like
an
man,
achievement for
they're
them
great.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you said Rams and KC play this year, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
a couple weeks on Monday.
So that's
Monday
going to be a
Night
Monday
Football.
night game
Yeah.
on November 19th.
19.
Woo! That's a Super Bowl matchup right there. That's how I feel about that game.
Let's. Is Tom Brady still alive?
He is, but
Let's not put him in his grave yet.
Oh yeah. Tom Brady just
one of these days he's going to be in his grave. I'm picking
one
it
of these days
this year.
Tom Brady's going to live till he's like 150.
wasn't born wasn't born today, but I wasn't born yesterday.
And real quick, the Jags game yesterday, Bortles got pulled.
Yeah.
Some of the people in this room have liked Blake Bortles, said he's a good quarterback. I've been saying he's garbage. I'm not naming any names.
I said that.
I did.
Oh, you said that. You like
Dave.
Bortles.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, Dave hates
him.
Bortles.
Dave hates everyone.
Steve's in the middle.
Dave
I've
likes
never liked
very
Bortles.
few.
That's true.
So you like Bortles. Now,
I
how do you
never
feel
liked
about Blake Bortles getting pulled?
No, he's looked really, really bad. I mean, but like I said a few minutes ago, the biggest thing that they had last year was a very, very stout running game. And Leonard Fournette coming out and not being able to play action off of that, it's had some side effects.
Yeah, it's tough to really depend on Bortles dropping back and trying to make
to
something happen.
win the game. That's not
happening.
He's not there.
Yep.
So
I mean, a lot of people picked the Jags to be the team in the AFC.
I thought that
year,
they would be. I thought that they would probably make the playoffs again or be close. I didn't think they
Still
were going to
might.
come back and be 13-3 again.
Yeah.
So
Who knew, though, because their defense was good.
Yeah.
And the AFC is not great.
Yeah.
And their division is still not good.
yeah.
I mean, you've got Houston magically on a 4-game win streak that nobody even notices. So,
Yeah.
I think it's hard. It's harder now with all the technology and analytics in football. It's hard to repeat anything from the last season, and that's even a great defense. Like you'll see like a good running
People
back
figure
or
you
a good
out.
quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have a great season, and then the next season
Well,
they're on it.
Well,
you
the
know?
other thing too, Steve, that you always have to remember as well. A lot of good teams or a lot of teams that have a flare-up year, they have a bad second year just because they're then put up against the other better teams in the league as
Right.
far as their schedule.
Right.
So if,
And then all those teams are playing up to them a lot more.
yeah, you know what I
Exactly.
mean. Like if you're the Jaguars, well, instead of playing the Jets, now you got to play the Patriots in the regular season,
Right.
or you got to play the Chiefs and the Steelers. You have to play those teams
And that's
year
the
in year
thing
out.
is-
You don't got the quarterback to do so. It starts to show up a little
And
bit.
this was my point with Blake Bortles when at the beginning of the season when everybody on ESPN and whatever other networks were all saying like, oh, you know, this Bortles, maybe he's better, maybe this and that and whatever. And what has he done? What has he done? He's had a game here.
He's had a bad.
it's just
he's
a
had
bad
you know what I
name.
mean? Like,
He
it's
has
just-
a bad name.
You know, it's
Bad name.
it's a bad everything. Like, I mean,
It's like you're not feeling the confidence with Bortles
Yeah.
leading you down the field.
I don't feel
Yeah.
much better on with Jared Goff or Carson Wentz.
yeah, these names
Yeah, but
don't
there-
inspire
there's-
confidence.
They don't
There's
have
a big
good
difference
names.
with once it's the coach of Adam McVay or the running back Todd Gurley.
You're talking
Yeah.
about you're talking about the name of the
Yeah,
guy,
just
though.
just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
name
yeah,
of the
it's
name of
Goff's
the.
not a great name.
Yeah, that sucks. That's hard.
Wow.
That's hard to get behind.
See, I got a friend named Goff. and
Goff,
He's in
Goff's
sports
my
radio,
boy.
so I'm not
Like,
mad
just,
about that.
It's a little awkward.
Oh,
But
it's way better than Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles is a bad one.
Bortles. My name's Blake Bortles. Like that just sounds
Definitely
very
a white.
like yeah. He got beat up a lot.
Blake.
He
Blake.
Balake.
This is definitely a white name.
Oh no,
It's
that's
definitely a
the
white
whitest,
name.
it's the whitest name there is.
It's definitely a
Yeah,
white
you
name.
Blake
can't-
No,
Bortles.
Carson Wentz is right there.
Carson Wentz.
These are some
is
pretty
way
white
up there.
names.
Carson Wentz.
That sounds like a politician's name.
If you put these names on paper and didn't know who they were, and somebody said, from this list of names, pick a quarterback.
And
Like-
he can only be white.
It's got to be a white quarterback.
Well, the
Drew Brees is right there too, but at least his name was
Yeah.
like, that's hot.
right.
That
You know,
Breeze
or
coming.
Breeze,
Don't-
Breeze.
or Tom
Breeze.
Brady. Tom Brady's
Tom-
a good name.
Tom Brady is quite
Okay.
regal. That's a
It
regal
sounds pretty
name.
strong.
President
Tom
Brady.
It
could happen.
It's,
It could
Mr.
happen.
Brady, Sir
Don't,
Brady.
don't.
I mean, it's,
you
You
know
don't
where
think that
you know
could
where he
happen?
leans.
Oh,
You know where he
it
leans.
definitely could. I'm not saying it
Yeah,
won't.
I saw his red hat in there. I don't want to say that.
All right, moving on to our new favorite sport, NHL hockey. Vegas Golden Knights, 3-game winning streak. They signed Tuck to a 7-year extension, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. Everyone's tripping out. They had a road trip to start the season and lost some games. Everyone's like, oh, they don't have it anymore. They don't have it. Fleury sucks.
And as I said, good. Let those people fall off.
Yeah, and Fleury ends up getting, what is it, Josh? I don't know what it's called. 3 stars of the week.
Oh yeah, he
So,
was
Fleury,
one of the three
yeah.
one of the 3 stars. Players of the week.
Yeah.
If you get first star, you were like the MVP of the week.
Okay.
Third star is like you were the weakest of the three, but you still
But you're
were
still
better than
better
like
than everyone else.
100
In a lot of
people in the
cases,
league.
it's like, well, we got to give it to somebody. And you had good shifts.
You win.
Your plus minus was positive, so you are the third star.
And I think the biggest challenge we had, we were playing the Ducks at home. The Ducks had only lost one game at that point, and we handled them pretty easily. I don't know if anybody watched that. Am I the only one?
I did not get to catch that, unfortunately.
I haven't been able to
I know
watch
you don't watch. You can still watch other teams, Josh.
Nope.
I've watched the Capitals.
Listen, you're in a whole different conference. You have no merit to my life.
Except
Wow.
you live in Vegas.
None.
Wow. Jerk.
Wow.
No,
merit
you want
to
to know who
your-
I watch? I watch the Penguins.
I feel that.
I watch the Giants. I watch the Rangers when they're actually decent, but the Rangers stink. So
and
I don't-
Crosby still hasn't scored a goal all year.
really? Don't worry, he'll
Look
be
it up.
fine. He'll be fine.
That's what I
He's-
heard anyways.
That's what you had heard. If I find out that's malarkey,
Sources.
I'm gonna air you out. Give
Check-
me a second.
Look it up. Unless he did it yesterday. If they played yesterday.
We'll see.
And then the Ducks lost on Paul Correa night. I think the Ducks should bring back the Mighty Ducks jerseys, by the way.
Don't they do that sometimes?
Well, they had
on
the
occasion,
they had the
on
throwbacks
occasion.
yesterday.
I can't get down with that every night.
No, I like those way better.
Well, see, they remember they stopped wanting to be like referenced to that movie, so they didn't want to be called the Mighty Ducks
Yeah,
anymore.
they
just
dropped
wanted
the
to be-
Mighty.
They
But
just
they
wanted to
could
be
have
the
kept the
Ducks.
logo.
No,
That logo's fresh, dude.
the logo was hot. I'll give them that.
So they
with
wore
the-
those yesterday. They retired Paul Correa's jersey. What number was he, Steve?
No,
9.
I don't know.
I wouldn't have known.
I was
unless
thinking-
I was watching
sorry,
the game
I was
yesterday.
thinking Tainu Solani. Tainu
Yeah,
Solani was
Solani.
77.
77? 71.
77 doesn't sound right.
70-ish. He's in the 70s.
77 doesn't sound
Paul Correa was
77,
9. That's
77.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they were up 2-0 against Buffalo. Buffalo's actually playing pretty good this year so far. And they lost that game. And same thing like Josh is saying. I've been watching a lot of the division games and conference games. Seeing the Kings lose, it's funny because they used to be my favorite team. And then we got a team out here, and I can't stand them anymore. They're one of my least favorite teams. And they can't win a game at all. What's that?
You were right on Crosby. 5
Hasn't
assists.
scored a goal yet.
5 assists. It's a good job.
Yeah. The
Not a
hockey insider, Quan59. Josh never thought he'd see this day.
I didn't.
I didn't either.
Not happy about the Kings hate though. That makes no sense.
Why? How does it not make sense?
Because how do you go from it being your team to then hating them?
Because it's
Easy.
Look, man.
no, that's
Division?
not. That's
It's
that's
in our
like
division.
that's literally like
Just because
ripping
you
my.
can go to loving every team doesn't mean other people can't go to hating every team.
But you
No,
know
Dave.
you know why too?
See,
Because
I live in the light.
you know why too? Because the Kings fans last year,
It's not possible.
the Kings fans last year in the playoffs were talking so much mess before the series,
Mm-hmm.
during the series, and even after we swept them.
Yeah. By the way, Team Solana was number 8.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking it up right now.
That
Hold
did
on.
kind of make me more of a fan because I
8 and
heard a
13.
lot of like Kings fans when we were playing the
Yeah,
Kings.
I don't know where the 70s
Just
came
talking about how good the Kings are and they're so much better than the Knights and they should beat us and we're just getting lucky and all of this. And it just rubbed me the wrong way, which also adds to my spite for LA people. But
Wow.
still, like,
Wow.
yeah.
They are
it's-
the worst. Y'all are the worst.
I'm telling
I
you,
like
it's-
LA people. Don't worry, guys.
It's,
I don't.
You know what? Maybe. Nah, I don't like LA people. Never mind.
Wow.
Good job.
That was-
Well, you already said them in Boston were the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't retract.
I'm not retracting that at all. And I wasn't going to
Can't do that.
retract it. I was going to.
Steve, what if it was an Asian lady who had homes in Boston and LA? I mean, does she walk out of your room alive?
She would hate me. That's the thing. It would be self-defense.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Self-defense.
Dude, you'd be like a cop planting the gun on that one.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I don't know what happened, officer. She just jumped at my neck.
I don't attack these people. They attack me.
I had to subdue her. Okay, sir, you subdued her, but then what are these stab wounds on
Yeah.
her leg?
Yeah, there's like 25 of them in the back.
Hey. She slipped and fell.
She's
clumsy.
She fell on my knife
Wow.
55
Yeah,
times.
it's clumsy.
She ran herself over with her own car. I don't know. Things happen.
Twice.
She ran herself over with
Twice.
her own car.
Happens, bro.
She was driving the car from underneath. I don't know what happened.
Hey,
She just ran herself
Oh
over.
my God.
I thought she was a mechanic. I was trying to help.
I was trying to help her out from underneath the car, so I drove the car away.
I didn't stop till I heard an ouch.
I just
knew something was wrong.
I was just eating nibs, minding my own business.
Story of my life.
Man.
All right, Josh, how are your world champion, Stanley Cup champion Caps doing this year?
We're doing fine. Doing just fine.
I didn't say. I was asking. I
listen.
want some analysis, Josh.
Well, I mean, honestly, look, Ovechkin's top 5 in the league in scoring, in goals. Evgeny Kuznetsov is, he's top 5 in scoring in the league. Backstrom scored his second goal this past weekend. He's got quite a few assists. Power plays number 1, number 2 in the league. We'll be fine. Braden has looked good, but then has looked bad. So like he's still got to kind of even himself out. But the team overall has looked good. And when it comes down to it though, we've only really been beaten once. Some of the games that we were losing, like we were getting blown out by who did we play the other day? It escapes me right now. But
I don't know. I don't watch your team.
We were being blown out the other day, and we were down by 3 goals. Came all the way back to force overtime. Scored the final goal on a power play, and with under a minute left. So I mean, just to continue to fight through it is that's all I need to see right now. So they'll be all right. Ovechkin looks like Ovechkin, and everybody else looks pretty good. Secondary scoring starting to come around, so they'll be all right.
Yeah. Maple Leafs have lost 2 in a row after just coming out.
That's good.
Going crazy. Nashville, they've only lost 1. Colorado's lost 1. It's been a fun season so far. I've been watching a lot of, a couple periods of different games and stuff like that. So it's been good getting into other games. Ducks are on out here all the time. Same with Kings and Knights. I watch some of the games that are on NBCSN also. Steve's favorite team is horrible. Are they?
Who?
The Blues?
My favorite team. The Blues?
Blackhawks?
You don't even know your
team.
favorite team?
My favorite hockey team is the Golden Knights of Las Vegas.
Who's your wife? Your wife is the
My
Blues.
wife's a Blues fan.
Yeah.
He used to be a Blues
They're
fan.
2-3.
They're not terrible. Listen, hockey, you're all right until you suck. So
Wow.
the first few weeks,
Deep insight.
the first few weeks. No, seriously, like you can hang around because if it's a loss, but it was an overtime loss, and technically still got a point, so you're okay.
Kids, let me teach you something. In hockey, you're all right until you suck.
Straight up.
Hey,
Get a T-shirt on
That
that.
should be a T-shirt. I was just going to say that.
That's not bad. Okay, there you go.
Not bad. I like
that's
that.
a good life lesson
There you
right
go.
there, bro.
You know what I mean?
That's a
All
good
right
life
until you
lesson, huh,
suck.
Steve?
It is.
You're not good until you suck. What?
No. You're all right.
You're all right.
You're all right.
You're all right.
I didn't say you were good. I said you're all
all
right.
right. You're all
You're not
right.
out. You're not out of
Until you
it.
suck.
You're not out of it until it's like, oh no, we suck.
Yeah, when you're good, you're not worried about it.
Yeah. If you're just middle of the road, if you're still in it, then we're all right. We just got to win 3 in a row.
Then a little bit
We're
later,
in first
oh,
place.
We suck.
Yeah. Then we suck. It's too
All
late.
right. Well, there's a lot of NBA on right now. There's an NFL game tonight. Any last words?
Man, I mean, I think that capped it.
Go Redskins.
No, not that.
Yeah. Nah.
You can't let us get off the air like that, Dave.
Lord,
That's-
Never, ever.
Hail, yeah.
Whoa.
I said hail.
Wow.
Good try though. It's actually a
Curse jar.
No, I said hail.
Nope.
Hail.
You're still saying it.
HAIL is hail to the Redskins.
See, that's what I never understood when like people use like substitute words. Like you might as well just use the word. We know what you're saying.
No.
It's like when people say fudge.
Hey,
Well, it's a
We know what's happening.
it's
a
a
lot
candy.
better.
It's like we know what you're saying.
no.
So
I just
stop.
fudged your mama.
You just stop fudging around, Josh.
Wow.
Wow. What's going on here?
You think this is fudging funny?
See, that's what I'm talking about. You know what he's saying. Why not just say it?
Hey, FEC isn't stopping that one. They're letting it ride.
Yeah, but stuff like that's just silly to me.
Fudge the FCC.
Wow.
And the NCAA.
That's right.
We didn't talk about that. The boy that was gonna forego the G League.
Yeah.
For
Now
that
he has
for
a
that
G League?
that
$1 million
$1 million internship and
I didn't hear about that.
$14 million
Tell us
from New Balance.
Possibly $14 million. It's
Well.
$1 million guaranteed.
Wait, tell us about it. I haven't heard that story.
Basically, it was he was a McDonald's All-American, and Jordan Brand he would sign on for Syracuse, and he reneged and said he was going to play in the G League for the year, and then now, even after the G League said they're going to pay you, he took a $1 million internship with New Balance and a potential $14 million contract.
$1 million internship?
Because
what's the kid's name?
To do what?
Darius Baisley.
Thank you. I didn't know. He looked like a baby Kevin Durant. He didn't look like much.
What's he doing with New Balance for?
No, they're obviously going to be his shoe.
Oh, it's just a shoe deal.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a back-ended
shoe deal, but they're
intern.
basically
Yeah.
That's where I got confused with like internship and $1 million. Like usually internship and money don't go together. So I'm like, hold up. Like,
we got to keep the unpaid intern quiet.
Do they
over
need
here.
more interns? Because $1 million.
They giving away $1 million.
You know
Sound like Mega Millions to me.
Wow.
I could put it in my resume. Just see what happens. I'm not fudging around, man. I got money. I got kids to feed, baby.
Wow.
I was gonna say so much.
That's got to do it on that.
Oh my god, that's too funny.
You think this is a game? Not for me.
Show's going nowhere.
Oh my god.
I love y'all. I do.
We love you too, Steve.
We were trying to do Unfriended, but my button wasn't working today, and I don't have anyone to unfriend anyway. So we will see you on Thursday, 2 p.m.